Um, so let's begin today's session. And the focus of this week is that technical, but it's quite straightforward. And the focus is on how you can allow other people or the public or other applications to interact with Adapt and see the kind of information that is already available in the platform. APIs, they're just like special programs for us to use and interact with other platforms that are out there. And Adapt has its own API, which you can use to actually interact with the platform and see the content that is already populated in the platform. So for us to use the Adapt API, first of all, is available and the configuration section of your username. So if you already have your Instagram, when you're logged into the platform, then on the top right corner, you will see your name there. So basically, you'll be an administrator. So if you click on your name, then you will be able to see this kind of the view that we have here for you to actually generate what we call a token. And that token, later on, we'll see how it can be used in the API. So the Adapt platform has what we call a Restful Api, which provides a read-only interaction from the platform. And for all the information that is already populated in the platform, different users with access to the API can actually configure it with different platforms that provide such accessibility for them to actually query the data that is already available in different sections of the platform. So other users don't really need to have their accounts created in the platform. So you just have to, for some of the users, you just have to create the token for the API, and then they can use that token to communicate with the platform and query data that they need and use it externally as for their needs. So in this session, we're going to see how we can use Hopscotch as a platform to actually interact with Adapt and query the data that is already available in Adapt. So as I said before, that the administrator is entitled to create the token for users to actually query data from the instance. And then once that token is created, then it is shared by request they sent. So let me get to the platform and see how we can actually do this in a practical way. So once I am logged into my platform here, then you see here on the top right is where my name is. And you can see the role is the administration role. If I click on my name here, so I'll be like editing my information, but down here after my information section, you see that I can manage my API tokens. So for me, I just come here and say I want to add a new token for users to use to communicate with my instance. So I can call this Adapt data as the label of my token and save it. So you see, here is the token created. Like this is the token that is created for this specific instance. So now for users who do not have access to this platform, and they want to see the data that is already populated in this platform, then they have to open this platform called Hopscotch. So they have to open this address, hopscotch.io. So when they open this platform, the first thing they do is to provide the address of that instance that they want to query data from. And this is the address, 1713.adapt.paris21.org. And then after that address, they add a stroke and then API, because remember, they are communicating with Adapt API that allows them to query data from that specific instance. So they add that address and the word API. And then here in the authorization, they choose what we call bearer token. And then after choosing that, here it will ask for the token now. Remember, the token is already created here in Adapt. So I just come here and copy this token. And since the copying process will be done by the Adapt administrator, who will share it with specific users to actually do this, then maybe they will have that token in their emails, so they can just go into their emails and copy this token and come and paste it here. Okay. Then after they set this here, then they come to settings section here, where they enable the middleware procs. So here you just toggle this button here. So if you click it once, it turns on, and you click it again, it turns on. Okay. So this file here is the same file that we see, which is available here on this platform. So the same content that you have here, you can actually download it and save it to your save it offline for your further use and interaction. So that's it. So that's how you can actually create what you call an API token in Adapt, and then share it with certain users who are going to use what we call Hopscotch as a platform to actually have access to your token and actually download the data that is already available in your platform. So yeah. Okay, so this is the first time when I joined this training. Oh yes, Georgis. So this is the very last session, and most of the Adapt part that we covered. Like the 99% of the work was covered in the first 5 weeks. But don't worry, these sessions are recorded, and we are going to share all these recordings, and the content also is available in our platforms, like the community platform. So you should sign up in Adapt community so that you can get access to all other previous content that was shared. So you can see here in the platform, we share all the content that we covered in the previous weeks. And if you come here, you can have access to all these other contents that we covered in the previous weeks. And if you face any difficulties, we're always available to assist you in issues that you'll be facing in understanding the content. But for the part of the training sessions. Yes, this is the very last session of the training. Okay, so any question on API or on any adapt part that you wanted to get more clarification on? Oh, sorry to hear that from Maldives. I hope you get better internet and get connected. So I welcome questions. So you don't have to confine yourself to today's session only. Okay, so we okay. Judges, we are going to share the today's training content via the Adapt community as well as via email, and we already have your email since you are already part of this session. So once we share the content, you will see our email addresses. Lasina, yes. So the use of Adapt is not only confined to national level data plans. You saw even in our like fourth week or third week session, we had all these province level and sector level data plans that we had to populate in Adapt. So it works for all these kind of plans that we have implementing in our settings. So it does not just cover global, regional, and national plans, but also sectoral and subnational plans. Then you can have those. Oh, you can have those available in your Adapt instance. So you can have multiple plans, you can have multiple log frames, and you can have multiple indicators confining themselves to all the different log frames that you populate at different levels of your country setup. Okay, so Lynn, okay, so yes, okay, let me go through on how to actually create the levels for data plans. Okay, so let me pick one of the data plans here. So should we check which one are you proposing we should use? So I want us to be collaborative on this. Which plan should I pick? Should I pick the NSDS or should I pick the sectoral POW? Okay, a plan that has activities attached. So for the plan that has activities attached, we have this one. Okay, so now that is just the basic information now. So then we have to link it with the policy. Like if there is any policy that this plan corresponds to, then we have to link it with that. And since, yes, there is that policy that this specific plan is linked with, then we say, yes, this links with demo land National Socioeconomic Development Plan, this one here, okay? And we add that there and say save. So we are linking this specific data plan to that plan of development that is there in Demoland. And then the organizations now, since this is purely for Demoland Statistics Office, then them themselves, they design it and they'll be in charge of monitoring and evaluating that specific program of work. So I add those information and save. And then if I had a file, like a Word document or a link to that specific file or a PDF document, I can quickly come here and either provide the link or attach that specific file. And then here I get to the actual content now. The content now is where now I define the structure of that specific data plan. So looking at this, so this data plan, as you can see, it has objectives, it has strategy and activities. Okay, so it has what we call the three different levels: objective, strategy, and activity. And we have to map these with the results chain. And to do that, we do that through the levels section. So when you get here and you say, I add a certain level, okay? You see now the results chain has what we call impacts, outcome, output, and activities, okay? And here, these are, like they say, the strategic objective, okay? And the strategies, okay? And the activities. These, as you can see, the way they flow, it's like the design of this program of work is from activities going way up, like activity, output, as well as outcome. So the strategic objective will be treated as outcome in the results chain. The strategy will be treated as output, and activity will be treated as activities in the results chain. So here I can say I have the first node is strategy under the first objective. Yes, so I have like 3 strategies. The first one is strengthening vital statistics. So I can add it here. The second one is strengthening administrative records and statistics. I can add it here. And the third one is to strengthen the surveys, sources of data. Okay. So I can have that there. So saving this. To mean that in the values for the first objective, I already have their outputs available there. Okay. But for the second objective, I don't have anything, and the third objective, I don't have anything. So to add the values for this objective and this objective, I have to do the same thing I did with the first objective. I have to first edit this section and select this specific objective and add those outputs there. But if I want to add activities now, which are corresponding to these outputs, then I have to edit this and select these specific outputs and see if there are any activities attached to them. So if this first strengthening vital statistics strategy, does it have any activity here? Yes, it does, which is further develop the national system of civil registration and vital statistics. So this activity here, I can just copy it here and add it here as an activity which is attached to that specific output. So if I save this, then I'll see that when I get to activities, I'll have activities attached to that. And even in the tabular view, you see that this specific objective has 3 outputs, which are strategies, and the first strategy has an activity, which is this one. So this is how you can actually add your structure or your content to a data plan all the way to activity level. So does this answer the concern that you had, Lynn? Which organization is responsible? Okay, so this I can say Demoland, Statistics Office. Okay, if I had any department associated with that specific institution, so if I have the department information added under site administration, then here is where I can assign this specific department to that specific activity. And the start date for all these activities, we know it's the year 2018, okay? And the end date, we can say that let it go until 2023, but sorry, 2022, okay? And if this activity had any sub-activities, then I will be able to add them here, okay? I will be able to add them here. And since it doesn't have any sub-activity, I'll just say, I'm just saving it here, since it is only existing as single activity. And also I can come to this one here and edit its information, select the organization, which is the Statistics Office. So it also starts in that year and ends in that year. Save it there, so that now I have the time information that when are these activities expected to be executed. Then I can come here to the costing section. Now, when I get here, you see now I have 2 different activities, and I know that my data plan is partially funded. So that means some of the activities will be executed, some will not be executed. And I know that this activity here, the second one, is ongoing. That means it has fund. So I can click on this specific activity and edit its information here, so that I can come here and add the costing detail. Okay, so I can add the amount in saying that, okay, if I have expert costs in any of the years, okay, maybe this is 20,000 US dollars, and transport is only 5,000 US dollars, because this is the year that I'm executing this specific activity. Okay, and as a cost, I can say that this activity will be executed this year all the way to 2021. And in 2021, I can, maybe I'll have this much as a cost and this much as a cost here, and say, okay. And here you see that it says that I'll have this specific activity executed in 2018 and 2022. And this is the total amount for that, and say, okay. And that's, you see now, it says costing details are provided. Okay. I get the point. So it doesn't provide room for me to select just the year. It has to be a very specific date. Okay. I get your concern. So you wanted to have various options for filters, like I can just filter by year, by month, and not by just complete date. Okay. Thank you. Yes, so these dates, the calendars, the way they are set, they are different. So you see here in when I was adding the activities, when I was adding the activities information here. So the kind of calendar that I have here, it allows changing, like I can change to, see here, years, month, days. So this kind of calendar that I have here is somehow different with the calendar that is available here in the monitoring. So this doesn't have those options here for me to switch between the kind of calendars that I want to pick. So it's a matter of having similar calendar here to the one that was appearing in the description section. So Triana, yes. So in APIs, so once you have this token here, once you have this token here defined and share it with your users, so they always access the data in real time. It's like when anything is updated in anywhere or any part of that specific instance, then when they click this send button here, so those kind of information will also be available, like will be automatically downloaded here. So for example, right now, I changed something under data plan, okay? So if I just, let me show you, if I just access the entire like just the base information, you see that I have data plans, okay? Also as part of the information that can be queried from the platform. Now, if I come here and add data plan and access that kind of information, now you see that these data plans are the kind of data plans that are available there, okay? And this is the last one that I just added. It has this ID, okay? And if I provide like the ID, I think 540, you see now, I'll have all the information in relation to that specific data plan. And we just added this information just now, okay? And you see all this information is coming and accessed via the API. Yes, so all this information is, so once I share the notes, in the notes, there is a stepwise on how to actually configure that. So it starts from the adapt part, from the adapt section on how to actually create the token, all the way to the actual platform, like where should we open it and where should we put different information, and actually how to trigger the request and get the output from the request, and actually have those responses downloaded offline. So all this information is, is available in the notes that we're going to share soon after this session. Yes, Lynn. So it depends on how now the NSDS is structured, because at the end, your NSDS. So in case your NSDS has activities, so you as let's say the NSO, you have like those kind of organization of like in our NSDS, we have these objectives, these outcomes and outputs, and these specific activities. Like we bundle these like production of surveys or production of agriculture survey as part of the activities that should be core part of our NSDS. Okay, in one of these, you saw there was like hiring. Where is it? This one here. Bringing 10 more IT and 20 more data experts. So this is just hiring, and they had to be very specific to that in that activity, because maybe it is very important to enhance the statistics in the country, as well as it is very important to study it because they should plan now for inclusion in different budgets that they have, and show that the importance of that will actually help them get better statistics in the country. And that's why they have to specifically bring it on board and include it as part of the NSDS. So there is no limit on what can be activities in your specific NSDS. So any important issue that you think it will need like planning ahead of time, and it cannot just be quickly executed with the resources that you have in place, and you have that kind of an activity to be like a long-term kind of process, then it's better to always include it in the NSDS and see how that helps in strengthening the statistics in the country. So yes, you can also have those kind of key issues as part of the NSDS. So not really for the report, but for the survey, yes. Yes, we could. If now in the actual, because now it always comes to the actual execution, or